Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on tonight's episode, I am playing my Shadow Knight, and he is level 10, and we are over in Unrest, guys. And I have to give a huge shout out to Tyke. He flew us all the way over here, got us all set up, and he's just doing it out of the kindness of his heart. And he's not even that big of that high level of a player. So the fact that he's giving back already just goes to show the level of character that he has there. So we're gonna pull this guy. He's red, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it and see if maybe we could just get him by himself. We might have just gotten him. I'm hoping that's the case because this is gonna be a tough one. Yeah, he's gonna hit me hard. Now Unrest is really good at this level, and it's really good period because one, yeah, it is a dungeon just like Befallen was, but you're gonna be able to stay here a lot longer, and you're gonna be able to find a lot more groups. Jack-o'-lanterns. They're having a great time because, like I said, most of them are new to the game and they're seeing this stuff for the very first time. And this zone is really cool. It has a lot to offer and just really, a change of scenery for somebody who hasn't been to this continent. Dark elves, they spawn, or they don't spawn, but they start in a different area than a lot of the other races do because every race pretty much has their own little home village that they have, and the Dark Elves is kind of creepy. It's kind of dark. It really kind of fits in with this little atmosphere over here. So, and somebody's pet, I think, ran off and pulled another one of these things, which is fine because we're tearing right through this stuff. To be honest, I think our group is a little overpowered for this spot. Even though we're all around level 10, some of us are level 11, but not too much. Yeah, the little pet went off there and did something. He even noticed it himself, and he lost a pet, which sucks because he loses some bone chips. That's going to be the only downside, really, to being here at the moment until we can get inside. Is that he's not going to get as many bone chips because we're not finding as many skeletons. So you may want to go ahead and see if you can, stag a skeleton every so often when you see one. But inside the house, you're going to see a lot more of those things, and we got a beetle as well. And those guys, man, geez, the aggro range on those beetles is so big. Do we need a pet or no? I would say yeah, go with the pet. Pets are fine. Pets are good here in this spot. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I think as long as you control it. You don't want to send it out there. You want to make sure that if it does run out there, you pull it back immediately because they're roamers. So that's pretty much all this area is. It's just a whole bunch of roamers. And I don't think they have a set path, of where they go. They pretty much just path around any old way they feel like it. We're going to get another ad right there. She's a little bit too far out. Ah, we got another ad. Oh, geez. Yeah, pull back as far as we can go. This might turn badly here, guys. We didn't get the jack-o'-lantern, so we're kind of saved on that one because the jack-o'-lantern is red to us at the moment, at least to me. So that could have gone. Yeah, I'm glad he saw that. I'm glad he backed up. I should have said something. I should have typed in like back up. But yeah, you definitely don't want to get too far extended out there until you get a handle on this area. And maybe if you're tearing it up really quickly, then you can kind of push yourself out there. Ooh, somebody's pulling the hand. Yeah, somebody's pulling that entire area outside the zone, or not outside the zone, but outside the castle, and just wrecking it. There's some high level guys. I don't know if they're power leveling somebody over there or what, but there was like literally the entire building, all the floors. Somebody had pulled every single one of them outside, which is kind of impressive in its own right, because even if you're like level 60, these things still do damage. They may only do 2 or 3 points of damage, but if you have 60 guys on you and they're all hitting you for 1 point of damage, that's still a nice little chunk of your life, especially if you're going to be sitting there killing it that slowly to allow somebody else to get the experience, which basically means you're tanking it and they're doing the damage. And if they're not very high and they're, going through it pretty slow, you may be sitting there 20, 30 minutes with like 15, 20, 30 guys on you, all hitting you for, a decent amount of damage over time. So it's pretty impressive that he can sit there and do that. But yeah, they're pulling everything over there, and normally I would be upset with that if there's a group on the inside, people actually wanting to be there. But I don't think there is. I don't think there's enough people here. I mean, there's 20 people, 18 of them with us. So two groups were here before we got here, and then there's our group that's here. So yeah, I think one group is power leveling the other one, to be honest. So I think that's pretty much the whole zone right there. Let me go ahead and check Matt on this one. See how much there are at. I think they're actually really low at the moment because we just went through like 7, 8 guys right there with no break, and it's been nonstop pulls since we got here. So yeah, 14%, 7%. Yeah, I haven't heard from the cleric yet, but I bet hers is pretty low as well because not everybody's full life yet. So let's see, what is this guy? What is he con? He is, if it will let me, yeah, he's red. 40%. Oh, it's just she's fine. Let's go ahead and snag this guy real quick. I'll pull him to me. And it's just, he's kind of a nuisance. He could get in the way really, really easy if he wanted to, because he's roaming around over here where we're at. So that's kind of why I wanted to kill him as quickly as possible before he did aggro somebody when we didn't want it. And it's definitely a thing in this area that you got to watch the aggro range. You can move further into it. I mean, if there's a lot of groups here and there's somebody already here at this corner, you can either go to the right-hand corner, which is on the other side, or you can go to the back wall, which is off to my right-hand side. A little bit further back, you kind of have to fight your way there. Not nearly as safe as this area is because you're right here next to the zone. So if things go bad and you have to run it, you're pretty close. If things go bad and you all die, there's not a long way to come back to get to your corpse. You don't have to fight your way back to it. But if you go to that back wall and you all die, you do have to fight your way back. So that can be kind of, if everybody doesn't stay and help fight their way back, that could be really, really rough. And I would only suggest doing that after you get familiar with this area. I don't want that. I think she was trying to give that to the pet or something. Or drop it on the ground. Probably drop it on the ground. Now, this area, as far as what kind of loot you get, you're going to get bronze inside the building. I don't think I've ever seen bronze on the outside of the building. But the experience, guys, the experience is going to be insane here. You're going to level so quickly. And the kills, as fast as you can pull them and kill them. So that's pretty much the only thing I can say about that is if your group is capable of handling it, you can get some massive experience. And the same almost can be said for Befallen where we were. There was a lot of stuff you could pull, but even there was a limitation. This place, the courtyard is on this one side. It wraps all the way around the building and goes to the other side. You can pull all of that. And I've never seen any group that wasn't just completely and totally tweaked out with gear and knew exactly what they were doing, even come close to killing all that before it was already repopping on them. So, yeah, you got your work cut out for you over here. Spawns here are dense, yeah. Pretty corpses. Oh, so he pulled something over here. Let me see what's going on over there. The tormented dead. Let me see if I can target it. There we go. We can kill this thing off real quick. Now, I am using my spells a little bit more often. As a Shadow Knight, I kind of learned to save my power whenever possible because you're not like another class. You're not like the cleric who gets to sit down when you run out of power. You're not like the a wizard who kind of relies on his power. When you run low on your mana, the group doesn't want to really wait for you. It doesn't mind waiting for the cleric, but it doesn't really want to wait for you because your spells really don't do a lot. Yeah, you have your snare spell, which might be the only spell you actually use in some groups because you're pulling so quickly. In other groups, you may not even use that one because you're going to have a druid or a shaman or somebody in the group that can snare for you. And in that situation, man, it's an amazing roller coaster of just constant pulls and constant kills, and you save that power for those situations where you're going to need it because your power goes up really slowly, especially since you don't ever sit down, and for those situations where you do finally get to sit down, chances are your power is going to go up a lot faster, and just you're going to need less power anyways than the cleric because you're not going to have nearly as much intelligence as he does wisdom, and you're probably not going to have used all your power. You like to keep some of that reserved for those really, really tough fights where you can go all out and use all your dots and use all your life siphon spells because there will be times where the cleric runs out of power and the only reason you survive is because you're siphoning life from the enemy. So that alone can save you. So you do want to keep a nice little reserve just in case things go badly. But that's what I'm trying to get at is that you just don't really get a rest, and so you don't want to use too much because of that. Oh, we are just smacking this thing. You can hear that crunching noise. That crunching noise is every time somebody gets a critical, even the enemy. So if the enemy gets a critical, you hear that noise. But the enemy isn't even attacking us; it's attacking the druid. And so I seriously doubt, he's getting hit that hard from that thing. So let me pull this back a little bit to the group so that they can hit it. You don't normally want to pull it right there next to somebody who's sitting down because they might get sit aggro, but you also don't want to keep it out there too far. Right now we have somebody power leveling us, but you don't want to get in the habit of just yeah, the Jacko. You don't really want to get in the habit of being careless because when he finally leaves, the group is going to be so used to doing it, they're going to do it without even realizing it, and then just everybody wipes. So if you get in the habit of doing things the right way, when things change and you switch things up, you're still ready to go. You don't have to readjust. You don't have to relearn. You can just kind of seamlessly transition into doing what you need to do. I love the way that spell looks. That's just beautiful. I mean, the graphics on this game, they're not fantastic. They're not going to blow you away and be like, oh, they're better than any graphics I've ever seen on any game. But they are still really nice. And that's saying something considering it's been out for what, like 16, 17 years now? Like the game's that old. And the graphics still kind of hold up to some of the games that I've seen nowadays. In fact, some of the games that I've seen nowadays have, you know, I don't want to say crappier graphics, but they don't necessarily even compete with the graphics here. So yeah, I think they did an outstanding job when they made this game. Really hit it out of the park. And I don't know if they really knew what they were doing or if it was just a lot of luck and a lot of skill. Like I know there had to be a lot of skill involved in this. A lot of, time that they invested to get things right. That's, goes without saying because it's such a great game. But I don't know, sometimes I think that they just got lucky on certain aspects and just happened to do it the right way, or maybe they had somebody in there that, knew because they had been playing games and playing, you got to remember at the time there was no other game like this. So they were really pioneering what 3D role playing games would look like. Any game that you play now, like Star Trek Online or Dungeons and Dragons, even World of Warcraft, the developers of World of Warcraft said they got a lot of their inspiration from Everquest. It was one of the first games out there like it, and they drew a lot of their inspiration from that. So the way you move around the zone, the way things work, how you interact with objects and doors and things like that, that comes from what these programmers did and what they put into effect. So in essence, they gave birth to a new type of game, which is just amazing to think that somebody could do that in their lifetime. Because now all the games that I play, they pretty much fall within a certain category, and yeah, some of them fall within multiple categories, and they will have pretty much every game out there now has some part of a RPG aspect to it, and that's kind of cool because I love RPGs. But with that said, there's not really been a game that I've seen in the last like 10 years that has come up with another genre all for itself. But maybe you guys know of one. Maybe you guys know of something they just came out with that is kind of making a little bit of headway and it's catching on and people are interested in it. If you do, definitely leave that down in the comments. I would love to check out any new games that you guys are interested in, that you guys are passionate about. I will be adding Fallout 4 to my Let's Plays here pretty soon. And now that one's going to be a little different than some of the other Let's Plays that I've done. Normally, I shoot 1 or 2 episodes and then I upload those. That way you guys have time to leave comments down below and let me know what's going on. And if you guys want me to go to the left or the right or go check out another bunker or something like that, I can do that for you. This one, because I am so, what's the word? I'm gonna say like so enamored with, Fallout, that I'm gonna take a couple of days off and I'm gonna sit there and play it, and I'm gonna play it for like 8-9 hours a day to get my fix for it, because I've just been drooling over the chance to play Fallout 4 for so long now. I know that like 1 hour a day, I won't be able to do that, guys. I won't be able to do like one episode and then stop. I'll be sitting there all day long just drooling over the idea of coming back and playing it again. That I need to get like that 20 hours in very quickly. And then from then on, then I can kind of slow down and do a few episodes a day or something like that to progress our way through it. You guys can leave comments. But for the very first like 20 episodes, I think, guys, chances are those are going to be like pre-recorded, and Well, I mean, they're all pre-recorded, but they're all going to be pre-recorded at the exact same time. And so, if you have suggestions on those, I definitely welcome. I definitely want to hear if you guys know of a good place to go to, or you want me to go someplace that maybe you didn't get to. That one's going to be a really kind of a slow let's play because I'm not going to cut anything out. And normally I don't cut a lot of stuff out, but I usually will cut a little bit out when I find that it's getting a little tedious and a little boring in certain spots. Like with this one, with this game, I just cut out that travel because basically it was us just teleporting over to Butcher Block, and then from Butcher Block running over to Greater Fadar to get or bound or whatever, and then run over to this zone. Like that was it. That was just like another 10 minutes of doing that. With that said, with Fallout 4, I'm not cutting anything out. So there will be episodes in there that may be like hours long where all I do is go off and explore the wasteland, not find anything at all. Maybe just go out there and bash my head into a rock because I can't find anything. I can't even find my way back to the town or something. Like that's something I used to do all the time when I played Fallout 2 and Fallout 3 is just go off and explore and see what I can find. Would you like an apple pie? Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So if you're not really interested in that type of gameplay, you may not want to watch those videos. I know some of you like to see videos that are, we're going to do this dungeon today, and we go over there and beat it in 30 minutes and we're done with it. For me, when I don't have the ability to play a brand new game that I'm really passionate about, like Assassin's Creed or Fallout or Mass Effect or something like that, and I watch somebody else play it, I try to find somebody who plays it the same way I do. And my game style or my playthrough of a game usually consists of me going and checking every box, every container, picking up every item that I can get my hands on, buying everything that I can, building up the bunker or the room that they give me, and getting all the secrets and just beating it till I don't have anything left that I haven't seen, because I love games like that are just so in depth. And Fallout, from what I've heard, is just it's just like Fallout 2 and Fallout 3. They hit it right out of the park, and it's going to be a great game. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. When I know I'm playing this game and I'm talking about Fallout 4, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of the stuff that was coming up while we sit here and wait for our power to go back up. Because there's only so much you can say about this zone, even though it's a really good zone. I mean, it's really cool, and it's just one of these fantastic zones that you will remember for years to come, because the trains are kind of wacky. You will get really bad pulls sometimes. Some nights you will log on and everybody is training all night long, and there's nothing you can do to really get a handle on it, because it's just one thing after another, and it kind of adds to that lore. Like, everybody remembers that. When you talk about Unrest, people are like, oh yeah, the trains. You talk about Mistmore, people are like, yeah, the trains. You talk about Corner's Castle, and they're like, yeah. Dude, you remember every time you used to log or zone into that place, you would die instantly? Like you would literally die just zoning into that place. And it's one of those common threads that people instantly know about. Or if you talk about the plane of air, people would talk about like losing their levitation because they got dispelled or something along the lines. And when that happens, you fall down and you land in Freeport or something, and people would be able to relate to that, because it has this wacky characteristic about the zone that no other zone really has. And Unrest kind of has that. It has that feel to it, that undead, vibe of creatures that you don't really ever get to see in any other zone for quite some time. And when you do, it's not quite like this one. It's a little different. And because it's unique, it lives on in a lot of people's memories because of that. And that guy's just not wanting to move. Okay, so let's kill the death beetle then. At least that way I can back up. Actually, no, he got it. Just didn't want to move for me. Didn't mind moving for him, but he didn't want to move for me. Now remember, if it's attacking you, the beetle, you don't want it to hit from behind, because it's going to do more damage. So make sure you turn that so that your back isn't facing it. And the same thing goes for, wizards or enchanters or whoever you might be playing. If the creature is hitting you from behind, just turn your guy or move behind it so that now it's hitting you from the front. It's not ideal. You don't ever really want to get hit if you're a wizard, or definitely if you're an enchanter. But if you have to, the front is the best place for you to get hit. And hopefully that will give you the amount of time you need to survive for the cleric or the tank to kind of taunt it off you and and get a hold of the situation. Now my taunt sucks at the moment. It's not really going to get good until I get to around, I think, 100 skill on my taunt. So that shouldn't happen, I think, until like a level 30 or something like that. So as soon as I get to that, it might be level 20 actually. But as soon as I get to that, then my taunt will be able to pull off the enemy after a few of them. Right now, I can't keep up with the wizards. I can't keep up definitely with enchanters. Enchanters, they so easily can still aggro that it's not even funny if they don't know what they're doing. Thankfully, most people who play enchanters, they learn quite early that you gotta control that or you're gonna die. And the way they learn that is just simply by dying a lot of times before they're like, okay, I'm never using that spell until I figure it out. Like that is just a nightmare. And their stun spells do exactly that. They will kill the enchanter just because he used them until he figures it out. And I don't know what the trick is on that spell. I just know that over in Crushbone, when I grouped with a lot of enchanters, and just from my past experience with them as well, when they finally got that spell and they were so excited to get it, and they would use it, they would instantly just eat it. Like nothing you could do. You could have it down to like 20% health. You've been sitting there beating on it all by yourself the entire fight. The enchanter tosses one stun on it, and all of a sudden, it will knock it off of the enchanter, and it just wipes the floor with them. Let's see, what are they doing? Yeah, they're good on this one. My health is somewhat low, so I'm gonna go ahead and sit down real quick. Not usually something I do, but the druid is pulling for us, and ideally he's the best one because he's higher level. So that's really cool. But I got to give another shout out to him, man. It's really cool to see him giving back. Now for me, because I do have a higher level character, it's kind of interesting to see this for the low level guys who don't have a higher level character. This is the time of their life right now. They are having a blast checking out a new zone and kind of being pampered. They're being protected by this druid, and they're able to come over here and see a zone that they may not have gone to really at all. Most of the time, if you're a dark elf, you're gonna start over there on that continent, Atonica. You're gonna go to places like Unrest, not Unrest, but Befallen. And when you get done with Befallen, you may go over to Oasis, or you may go over to the High Pass and stuff like that. Now that we're over here, this is gonna open up all new sorts of doors for these people that may have missed this area. So that's kind of cool. It also has a negative side of kind of closing those doors for those other zones that they may have gone to that now they don't get to experience. But they can always go back and make another character and go to those. I mean, this zone is not one that I really went to with my Shadow Knight. It's one that I went to with my cleric because it's such a great zone for clerics. He likes me. Let me go ahead and pull this guy. He's red, but I think it's gonna be fine. And Tyke is pulling him anyways, so there we go. I got it off of him. It's alright. I would have got it off of him anyways because he doesn't actually attack it. He just pulls it, and then the moment we start attacking it, it just kind of changes targets. Let me go ahead and get some. Oh, he stunned me. Holy crap! The dude actually stunned me. That is nuts. Okay, let me get some strength off of this guy. And I can't wait to get my next level spells. I get them at level 15. I don't remember what level I get my Dooming Darkness at. I didn't see it in the spells inside the Dark Elf City, so if I already have the spell, or I should already have the spell, it's not in the vendors that I checked. And sometimes that is the case. Sometimes you have to actually go to other cities to find the spells you're missing, which is what I'm having to do with my shaman. My shaman, he's a barbarian, and he went to Hollis to get his spells. Hollis doesn't actually have all the spells for shamans. You have to go to Grob or crap, what was the name of the other one? Or Guck, or I think is the name of the other one. So you got to go to one of those two places to get the shaman spells that you're missing. And it's kind of interesting that they would do it that way, but it kind of adds a little bit more excitement to the game because you actually have to go off and see these new places. You can't just keep going back to your home village. Like your hometown will have almost everything you need. The key word being almost. And so then you do kind of have to branch off and go check out the other good cities or the other evil cities. And in the case of mine, my barbarian, he's neutral, which means he's not liked in Grob or Aguk. He's not welcome in those places. So if he goes over there, he will get killed by the guards, which means I can't even buy my spells over there. I have to pay somebody else to do it, or I have to get a friend to do it. which again brings communities together because somebody will be like, hey, any chance anybody wants to go in there and get me this stuff? And now you know who that person is. They were nice to you. You kind of remember the name. And later on in the game, you see that same person running from a mob. You save them. Now you guys have done something for each other. And that's how like friendships are started. You know, you might give them a res, you might give them a port because they helped you out, or just give that to somebody else because somebody else helped you out. You're kind of, passing it along. You're just, you know, giving back to the community who's given to you, which is what this server kind of does. I mean, this server is just all about giving to other people because every single person I've met on this game, other than I would say one or two people, have been just extremely nice. And that one or two people I was talking about, we caught on camera in Blackborough with me and Thum, and I don't know, it was just kind of weird that they were being such buttheads about trying to pull and keep all the mobs for themselves. And they trained us a couple of times and we weren't quite sure why they were doing that because they didn't need to. Like, it wasn't a big train. The entire group didn't run it. It was just one guy, the tank, who was running it, and he was only running like one mob, and they had an entire group down there. So unless there was something we were missing and we just weren't seeing it, they were doing it on purpose. And beyond that one experience, I can't think of another one that I've had that was negative since I've been back. Now, in the old days, yeah, you had your fair share of trolls on here doing things that would annoy people, and just like with any other game that's out there, you're going to have those types of people on the server. But because this is a older game, pretty much the only people who have come back to it are people who remember the game for what it was back in the day, or people who heard about what the game was back in the day and they wanted to experience that for themselves, which is pretty cool. The fact that it's kind of reliving those old days all over again with a brand new community, and it's still alive, it's still thriving, and people are enjoying it now just the same way they were back then. I can't think of another game that really has that going on. Maybe Diablo 2 still has that because that's a very popular game, and it was wow, I'm about to die here. 33%. I should be fine. I just don't want to turn my back to it. Let's do a little bit more health still if we can. There we go. Jeez. These things hit pretty hard, but of course they are even to me at the moment. Let's see, there we go. Let's get a little bit of hits on there. Probably have to heal up after this fight. Give them a little bit of time to med up because we have been killing non-stop since I started the video, I think, and that's insane amount of experience. Let's look at that. Let's see how much experience we've actually gotten. Look at that, guys. Almost an entire level since showing up here. And he pulled a few more. So no, we are not going to stop. We're going to keep going. This is a little crazy. Oh, we got another one. Jeez. Okay, so we got 3 here. Oh, man. Thankfully, we got that druid here. Otherwise, there would be no way we could keep this pace up. We'd have to stop. But this is what would happen if your group was all, tweaked out or tinked out and just great gear, and they knew what they were doing. They knew how to play their class, and they were working really well together. This is what this spot looks like. And you can just see the amount of experience we're getting. Holy crap, another one. That's because we're too far out, especially the pet. Pet's a little bit too far out. He's getting a little bit of aggro here and there. But we're doing it. We're handling it. So I'm not complaining one bit until we all die. Then I'm like, no. Because it's a long run. Even from a Greater Fadar, that's a long run. And not exactly a safe one either at this level. That can be very, very treacherous. So dying is not something you really want to do. Unless you're a caster, you can bind yourself right at the entrance, which is what my cleric can do. No, my Shadow Knight cannot do that. So, what's naked under the? Oh yeah, this experience is ridiculous. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic getting experience like this. Unless you want to slow down, if you want to go to several zones and check things out, like right now, our main characters are like 29, 30, right there around that range. There's a few zones that I want us to go to. I want us to go to Befallen so we can check out the bottom floor. I want us to go back to the Gorge, and I want to go to Rooney Eye, check out all of those. I also want to go to, what's the name of the zone? Upper Guck, which is already kind of too low for us. We can go to the entrance of Lower Guck at our level, but that's there's not going to be a lot for us to kill, maybe bats or something, but it's not really going to be a great place for us at that level. But there's several zones that I want to go to before we out level them. And Soleil again is just a fantastic place too. So I kind of want to go there and do a little bit more episodes. But guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure to leave those comments down below because I do want to hear back from you. I want to know what you guys think of the game, what you guys think of these levels. We will have more videos with the guys. I'm just kind of doing this stuff while they're not on. They were going to log on tonight, but things happen. People have stuff that they have to do in real life. So I just wanted to hop on and do some videos because I know it's been a while since I've done some videos alone. And some of you guys were saying that you kind of enjoy it when I go off of my little rants about whatever it is that I end up talking about most of the time, because I never really stop talking, which is crazy. Because as a kid, I was always that one that was in the back that never really said anything. That could go like a year without saying like 2 words. Like that was me. So now I'm at this point where like just I can go on and on and on and on and never really stop talking. It's a different. It's a nice change, but it's I don't know. Is it a nice change? I guess it is. You guys seem to enjoy it, and I definitely do. I definitely enjoy talking to you guys. So I guess I will. Yeah, like I guess I will end it here because I don't want to go past 30 minutes. You guys have seemed to agree that that's a really good number to go with. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time.